Hi, everyone. So I am here tonight with Hema Gami, who is over in India. So she has made a special effort to stay up late to us and come on live. And she's going to be talking about discovering her dream role and going from being a computer programmer into game design. So I just wanted to, well, I met Hema about 6 months ago, I think, Women in Games conference, and we got chatting, and I've seen her post on LinkedIn, and I've just been so inspired. And so when she said she'd be up for coming on this, I thought, yes, this is going to be cool. This is going to be really interesting. So welcome, Hema. It's lovely to have you in here and to be speaking to you. So yeah, cool.
Thank you so much, Emma. It's lovely to be here as well.
And so the first thing I was going to ask was ask you to do a bit of an introduction about yourself, and by telling us a bit about you and how you got into tech and your kind of background there. So tell me about that.
Right now, I am working as a game designer and game art director in Time Loop Technologies. I did my graduation in engineering in the information technology field, and but that was my start, and that was my starting point into the tech world, and that's where I got introduced to the tech world. So.
Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
what made you go into doing a degree in tech? Did you like tech at school as well? Did you like programming there, or?
I mostly, and it was an inspiration from my brother that I took from my brother. He is also a computer engineer, and I used to talk with him a lot. I used to learn programs from him. I used to attend video lectures when he used to teach his students. I used to attend those lectures, and I used to get interested in the programming aspect, and that's how I felt that if I have to do some graduation, I think it should be computers. So that's how I got into the computer programming
That's cool.
world.
And yeah, great way to be introduced to tech and kind of inspired by someone else in your family. So yeah, that's amazing. And the thing, so just before we carry on, I'm just going to say, actually, if anyone has any questions as we go along for Hema, please do drop them in the comments. We'll be monitoring the comments. Might take a little bit of time for us to see them, but we will get to them. So please do ask questions as we go along as well. So yeah. So kind of then you went into the games industry. So you were in tech, did a programming degree. What made you choose to then go into the games industry when you left university?
As I told, from childhood, I was very much involved with very much interactive with my brother. He used to be my go-to person for any problem in my life, and I used to spend a lot of time with him playing lots of games. We used to play games on the NES, Mario and stuff. Mario, Contra, all those games used to play a lot. I always used to get the second player. So that got me interested in games, and my brother had a dream that he wanted to open a company in games industry, because at that time, that was like 10 years ago, and 10 years ago there weren't many games company in India. So that became his dream, that he wanted to open a game company. And I used to tell him that once I graduate, I really hope that your company has started, so I can join you and help you in that venture. And luckily, the year that I graduated, that was the year that the company began. So I directly jumped to the company, and even in my graduation, I did a project on a game. I made a small game as a project as well. So that at that point was my entry point to the games industry. I joined as a game programmer. From that project, I started game programming. So that's how I got entered into the field, and mostly exposed to this field by my brother.
And so it's kind of like everything fell into place. You left university
Everything
and then
felt, yeah.
suddenly, hey, there's a company for you to join. This is perfect.
Yes.
It's like, hey,
Yeah,
this is your destiny coming up.
exactly. It was like it was meant to be.
And at the time when you did that, had you thought about being a game designer, or was it just, actually, I enjoy the programming, let me try this out?
No, the game designer role, I didn't even know that kind of a role exists in the games industry. I joined as a business development executive, a junior business development executive, and a game programmer.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have good communication. I used to write very well. I used to have a lot of practice in writing, so that due to that, my brother asked me that would you be able to help me in this business department as
Mm-hmm.
well, because we want someone who can interact with our clients, who can find the clients. I said yes, let's do it. I said let's do both of the things side by side, because ultimately I want to become a programmer.
Mm-hmm.
So I did both of them. I joined, but most of my time used to go into the business work, because it's time taking to find business for the company. So yes, that I mean, 80% of the time used to go into the business development part.
So
We used to find clients.
you started out with the kind of going into programming and the hope that programming role would grow, but you were also doing the business development. And I was going to ask you, so tell us a little bit about the types of games that you develop and how Time Loop works, because that kind of gives people a bit more insight into why business development is needed. So tell us about Time Loop.
Yeah, Time Loop works on. It is a service-based game company. We work on games for our clients. We find customers who want to build games, and they can be any kind of game. We don't limit ourselves to any one particular genre. We are always open to take any genre, take any opportunity that comes to us, and we get started on it. So even the team that we have right now, all of them loves playing games. So we play all kind of games, and that motivates us to develop all kind of games. So yes, we find customers who want some games developed, and we develop those games for them from end to end. We
Mm-hmm.
start the game design and art, then development, then testing, and then launching. So from end to end, we handle the entire cycle of game development.
And do you do the release side as well and support, or do you then hand it over to them once it's out there?
That depends. Some
Mm-hmm.
customers have some publishers in their contacts, and some people are just trying out first or second. I mean, first few games. So, if they have their own marketing and publishing team, then we just hand them over the
Mm-hmm.
final product. This is your final product, you can now launch it. So that's how it goes. Depends on the clients whether they want us to publish it to the app store or play store, or they have their own publishers and marketing people.
So you're pretty flexible. And then if you go back then to that role, so you as a business development manager and what you were doing. So I'm just checking what we are live in the group. So I haven't done that. Yes, we are. So that would be a bit of a mistake if we were streaming somewhere else, and that sometimes does happen. So, and for those people watching, please say hi, because that helps confirm to us that we are actually live. So,
Yeah.
um, so,
Hello.
so, so going back to what the business development role that you were doing. So
Mhm.
your job was to go out and find people who wanted games to be developed and kind of help them understand how you could do that and figure out
Yes.
the what the scope of what you could deliver and all of that
Mhm.
sort of stuff. And that's what you started
Yes.
off doing alongside being a programmer as well.
Yes, that was my first role, exactly.
Wow. And so then that role has evolved. So how has it evolved? What's happened from there? Where's it gone to?
uh, Lots of things, lots of roles in between. uh, I did business development and game programming for about 2 years, and then I did one project that kind of changed my life. I worked on a virtual reality experience. It was a roller coaster experience that I worked on. It's called Candy Coaster. It's made for Samsung Gear VR.
Mm-hmm.
Samsung Gear VR devices. We made that product. That is a product of Time Loops. So I worked on that product from my first year, the first year that I joined Time Loop. I worked on that product, and I did the programming, but I also did the game design part. I didn't know that I'm doing game designing, but I did it. I wrote the events that this animation will occur at this time, the roller coaster will go in these ways, and the small puppies will approach the coaster at this moment. So all those moments I
Small
used to
puppies
define.
approaching the roller coaster. That sounds
Yes.
nice.
So I did that, and that that introduced me to the game design role. That answers the question that Rebecca asked me. Uh,
Mm.
that's how I got introduced to game design. Parth and Hardik, those are my colleagues. They told me that this what you're doing is game design, and we really like what you did here, and we want you to explore that field. And that's where the journey started in the game design.
And I'm going to carry on with that. So tell us what you love about it, because you
Mhm.
clearly, and when when you start talking about it, you sort of glow in a different way. It's like, yeah, what do you love about game design? What's in there?
Okay. I think the part that I love the most is I can let my imagination go wild when I'm doing game design. I can just imagine whatever I want. It's my own little world. I can do whatever I want in that world. I can make things however I like in that world. And that kind of gives another kind of satisfaction that you are using your creativity into making your own little world. And yeah, that's what I love about it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And that
It's,
sounds good to me. And it's like you can go into your own dreams and make them come
yeah,
into reality and just
it's
play
kind
with
of an
that.
escape sometimes.
Yeah. That's cool. And that's so you've given us an example of a game,
Mhm,
but do you have any other
mhm,
examples of games that once you've become a game designer, what else have you done? What
mhm.
other things have you done?
Mm, one of the major projects that we are doing since over 1.5 years is about Baby Joy Joy. It's a small kid. They have a YouTube channel of their own that is designed for kids, toddlers, and very small uh, age of kids. Uh, we have developed over 9 to 10 games for that particular client in the last 1.5 years. And for all those games, I have been part of that game as a game designer and as an art director. That's also something that got added into my dream. We can talk about it
Mm-hmm.
later. Yes, so those games work in a kind of fashion that we take a basic idea. For example, Halloween. We wanted to launch a game near Halloween, so we took the idea of Halloween, and then we made a story around it that we have a bunch of kids that want to get ready for the Halloween party. So we take them to a dress up zone and we try on different costumes on them. Then we paint their face for the Halloween party. Then in the next part of the game, the children scares their parents, and their parents like, oh, peekaboo. So that's how we develop the story around any particular idea. And we take a very basic idea that the kid has to get ready for the game, for the
Mm-hmm.
Halloween party, and then we expand from there. And there are some customers who approach us with the basic idea themselves. So there
Mm-hmm.
are few games in which the basic ideas are given to us, and we expand over those basic ideas. So
So some
that's
people come just going, can you develop a
hmm,
game for these sorts of people, for these kids, for
hmm,
Halloween, or and you have to come up with the whole idea. And then some people
yes,
come and say, actually, I want a game that does this. And then you have to kind of work within their
yes.
ideas and add to it. And yeah.
Exactly.
Do
People
you,
from all kinds of industry come to us. For example, a construction worker, a construction industry, they want to come into the game field and make some game that teaches construction to little kids, or
yeah.
maybe some other age group. So we design the games as per their business idea.
Mm.
Yes.
That must be, and it's so different as well. You kind of, I guess it goes back to what you're saying about getting into a different world and just a
Different
world of
world.
imagination, but you can kind of go and step into a completely new world and explore it and kind of go construction. Oh, what could we do here? This is fun.
Yeah, exactly. So you learn every day, and there is
Mm.
no repetition in this work.
So then this is giving us an idea about like how does your job work? So
Mhm.
how many games might you be working on any one time, and how do you sort of split your time between the different things?
Right now, the role that I'm doing is wide. I do game design as well. I do art direction. I also do game direction.
Mm-hmm.
So in all the games, right now I'm involved in about 4 to 5 games, and in all those games I have different roles. And for example, the one game that I'm majorly working on right now is a game design project, and I'm writing a new story for the whole game. So, and the way I manage it, I just uh, divide my time, the whole day, the whole day's time, and decide the priorities when I have to submit which milestone. I divide
Mm-hmm.
my things into priority, and then I take one thing at a time. I mean, yeah, it's working out.
Do you find it hard switching between one and another? Because it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to take this hat off and go and put that one on and get into that world.
uh,
Or do you enjoy
I've
that?
been I've been doing that from 5 years, so I've kind of like made my peace with it. I have to do multiple roles anyhow,
Mhm.
so I'm pretty happy with what I do. I switch roles very often.
Do you ever find that one thing merges into it and oh, I'm in the wrong game?
That happened one time. A person was asking me about in-app purchase. How many in-app purchases do we have in this game? So I was telling them about the other game, and then I realized, oh no, that was in the other game, not this game. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, I bet it does, but it does. Yeah, it's part of it, isn't it? And you might find that I'm guessing sometimes ideas kind of come and you think, oh, we could do that there as well, and take inspiration from each. So yeah,
Yes.
that's cool. And so how do you think your experience in your other roles has set you up for
Hmm.
this game design role?
Mm. Being a business development executive in past, I kind of understand what the customer wants. I understand their expectations in a better way. I
Mm.
can put myself in their shoes and understand their expectations in a much better way. I have a wider idea about it when I'm working on any game design. And having experience as a game programmer helps me to know what kind of details I, as a game designer, has have to give to the programmers for them to develop in a very smooth way. So, and yeah, as an if I'm working on some art, then I know how the developer is gonna need that art in the game.
Mhm.
So that kind of helped me. The working in different roles in the past is helping me a lot when I'm working as a game designer.
It's really interesting that you kind of been at you started off at the like too wide, two extremes. I can't even get in the camera. So you kind of started out with the two extremes, and you've kind of gone for the thing that fits really well in the middle, and that's kind of like a natural progression as well. That's kind of happened, and you've gone, oh, this role, oh yeah, that makes sense, and it fuels my imagination. And the thing we haven't talked about yet is because you're also studying digital art, aren't you?
Mhm.
So that kind of feeds in as well. You're learning about that whole area. So tell us a little bit about that.
Right when I talked with Hardik and Pat, the two colleagues of mine, two very close colleagues, I they told me that if you are interested in these kind of things, these kind of creative things, then you might as well explore art. Maybe you can try it as a hobby. Then I joined a tuition in which the teacher taught me sketching.
Mhm.
I used to draw a lot of sketches, lot of faces. So that's how I got introduced into art. And then I one day I switched to the digital art, and now I'm learning to make myself more uh, comfortable with digital art.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I can copy very well. Right now, my main focus is to learn the concept side of it, to put my imagination onto paper. So that's what I'm focusing my learning on right now.
Wow, and I can see that really that deepens what you can kind of expand out, and sort of having that imaginative world and then being able to put that down.
Draw it, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really amazing.
sometimes I also explain the whole game design to client via I screen share with them, and I explain to them the whole. I mean, I design a few things and I explain. Oh, is that how you want it? Oh no, let's cut that out. Let's do it like this. So that helps me.
Yeah.
So art
Wow.
also helps me in game design.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just going to say again, because I'm asking loads of questions, but if anyone watching has any questions, please do drop them in the comments. We would love to answer them. And yeah, let's have a conversation if there's anything comes up. So I'm now going to move on and ask though, so we said this is the journey to discovering your dream role.
Hmm.
So what is your dream role and how do you get there? Because I know that there's another step that you want to take. So tell us about that.
Yeah. My dream role right now is to become a creative director and be involved in every aspect of creativity that there is in the whole company, not only in the games that I work on, in the whole company, whether it is the marketing aspect, whether it's about the website, the creativity of the website. It's let it be about anything, even if it's about writing a narrative. I also
Mhm.
enjoy writing as well. So I would like myself to be involved in all the creative works that there can be in the company, and that's about my dream role. If I want to talk about my dream, then my dream is to develop a game of a game of my own that has a story that we have worked on together. So yeah, that's my dream.
So moving into being creative across the whole company and also being amazing that you had your own game that you developed, and do you have any ideas for where that might fit, or is it just open now? So let's see what comes up and see where we, is there any particular genre that you enjoy that you'd like to see a game in, or is that just, yeah, let's see?
I enjoy story based games,
Mm.
story based PC games. I really enjoy that. Uh, and my favorite genre is puzzle, platformer puzzle. My favorite game is Limbo. I played it many times, and
Yeah, it's a good
yeah,
game.
platformer puzzle games are like
Yeah.
best
It's,
for me.
it's been a while since I played Limbo, but yeah, I loved it when we played it. And we actually sat side by side, me and my husband, and took it in turns to do the puzzles. So we'd each have a go, and then if one of us failed, the other one got to have a go. So we kind of moved along like that. It was really good fun.
That's good. That's nice. Their second game is also nice. Do try it.
Yeah,
Inside. It's
yeah.
called
No.
Inside. Yeah.
I think I liked Limbo better, but they're both very
Okay.
good, aren't they? So,
Yeah.
so okay, so what would you, if is anyone watching is interested in getting involved in game design or development, what advice would you give for them?
Mm-hmm. Um, I would advise them to play a lot of games. Um, playing games, whether you are a game, if you are aiming to become a game designer, you'll observe the different how the story is moving across, how the mechanics are designed, how the characters fit into the environment. You learn all those things if you are aiming to become a game designer. If you are aiming to become a developer, you can observe the different gameplay mechanics, how the fighting is happening, what kind of controls are there. You can try, even in your free time, you can try developing, coding those kind of game mechanics in your free time. Then if you are a quality analyst, then you will be able to analyze the quality that is there in the world right now. And yeah, if you're interested in any of the fields in the game, my suggestion would be play a lot of games and don't just stick to one kind of genre. Play all the different kinds of genre. So that would help.
Yeah, I love games and absorb games, and the game design kind of infuses you, and kind of you learn from that. I think that's such a great bit of advice.
Yes.
And what better reason to go and play some games than it could be your your next career? Let's
Yes.
go and do some research about your career. Oh, I've got to go and play some games. That sounds like a good one.
That sounds like a very nice, relaxed job.
So this I had to ask this question, which is kind of just recognizing you're in India, and
Mhm.
the games, while games is global, you probably see some different things to what we did. And because I know that you work for companies around the world in games, I just wondered, do you see any different career options? Do you see anything different between the UK, the US, or an India, or yeah, anything that you've seen there?
Mhm. Uh, what what I'd like to tell about this is in India, you see there are lots of different culture in India. There are lots of different kinds of art in India. So being here, you'll always find something different at different places. You know, if you go to one place, you'll find something unique. Even I don't know what's going on the other end of India. So now that kind of art forms run in the family. For example, my father is a bandhani designer. Bandhani is a kind of an art form for clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's kind of an art done on clothes, and he designs those things on the clothes. I'll share you a photograph of
Yeah,
it
yeah,
later
do
on.
please.
And somehow, since we have such a variety of culture, even if you don't have a degree in the place that you're aiming for example, if you are aiming for arts, even if you don't have a degree in art, you can go into art because that runs in the background, that runs in the culture of India. So that kind of helps. I mean, that I don't know whether such a thing is there in UK or the USA, but over here I think you have an advantage that even if you don't have a degree in something, you can still have a career in it because that
Mm-hmm.
kind of runs in your blood, that just clicks.
Yeah.
And many of our artists in the company, they are from engineering background, and, but they do art so well.
What I love about that is that certainly the experience my experience was that you
Mhm.
were either an artist or a scientist when I went to school, and you had to
Mm,
choose between one
yes.
or the other. And so I persuaded myself that I wasn't creative and I wasn't an artist, right up
Mhm.
until very recently. And then I started realizing, hang on, as a programmer, I'm creative. As doing this, I'm creative, and and then starting to see that, yeah, I can draw, I can do these things. So
Yes.
it's lovely to hear that there's like this in India, there's this background kind of just belief in your creativity. And I'm wondering whether that's kind of part of what comes through for you, and has brought that game design in, is the fact that, yeah, you are creative. You're allowed
Maybe.
to go and kind of explore your imagination and be
it
arty, and,
comes
and have a go. Yeah, that's amazing.
it comes from my father, I guess.
And from your father and the family, and then that kind of background belief that if that is what's happening, is that people just kind of go, yeah, well, of course you can have a go, of course you're artistic. That's definitely not really around from my experience in the UK. And I know there's a lot of discussion around
Mhm.
STEAM subjects, so things
Yeah.
like, instead of it being STEM, so science, technology, engineering and maths, science, technology, engineering, art and maths,
Art and
just,
maths.
and that's a kind of a movement that's happening at the moment, that to try
Yeah.
and bring art more into engineering. But it sounds like you've got it, so yeah, that's amazing. So was there anything else you wanted to add? I was going to ask, how do people get in touch with you, but is there anything else you wanted to add in here that I've missed so far?
um no, not really. I think that sums it up. I just like to say, if you are in some career, I mean, if you are a programmer, or vice versa, if you are in art and your heart is in programming, then just don't just stay there thinking that you have invested a lot of time here. It's never too late to switch a career. That's what I believe. Even if you have 10 years of experience in something, if you want to try something new, just go ahead. If your heart belongs over there, just go ahead and do it. That's what I feel. And your job should be something that you look forward to. You're spending 8 hours of your day at that place, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you should love it. You
Yeah.
should love what you do.
And the thing that your story shows, and I think a lot of people see this, is making that change. Often you build on the things that you have done. So even if you think, oh, I've invested all this time in this one area, is it going to be a waste? And probably it's not. You're probably going to take a lot of that stuff with you without realizing it.
Yes,
So yeah,
yes.
that's such great
Learning
advice.
is never wasted, right?
Yeah.
Everything you learn, it's gonna help you somewhere down the line. So
So if people want to get in touch with you, if they'd like to know more, if they kind of want to get their own game developed as well, so what's the best way to get in touch with you?
I'm always active on LinkedIn, and I'm less active on Facebook, but I'm always active on LinkedIn. And I'll always reply back to you if you also drop me a message from the website, www.timeloop.in. So both ways I'll be available for anyone that has to talk with me about anything. I'm a good listener.
Yeah.
So you can always come to me and you can just
Amazing.
speak
And we'll
your
drop the
mind.
links in the description, and as well as the link to your LinkedIn profile and to the website as well, so that people can come and find you. And that's, yeah. So
Sure.
I don't know if there's any final questions. I haven't had any questions so far, but I hope everyone has enjoyed this. I certainly have. It's been amazing to talk to you. And what's been lovely is just getting to know you a bit more, because I think you are active on LinkedIn. I've seen you kind of post about some of the games, and just it's just lovely to get to know the person behind those posts, actually. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emma. And it's great to talk to you as well. You bring some kind of positivity. When I talk to you, it's kind of, it gives me a very positive feeling. So I really enjoy talking with you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to stand in front of these people and share my thoughts, share my experience and journey. So thank you as
Oh,
well.
thank you, and thanks for sharing it, because I'm sure it will inspire loads of people as well. So we will be sharing it around too. So thank you, and good night, everyone. I don't think there's anything come through, but so if you've been watching on replay, feel free to keep on dropping questions, comments in, and ask anything, because we will both be checking back in as well. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you very much, and we will see you all soon. Bye.